Fellas, 315 is over, and we've got a new champ in town. The man from Perth, Scrappy MMA's got a champion. Aussie's got two now. Volk and Jack Della Maddalena. What a fucking performance. What a performance by Jack Della Maddalena. I said coming into this fight, the man who can hold the forward pressure better is going to win. And I really think that's how it played out. I mean, especially in the first couple rounds, credit to Bilal. Because 3, 4, and 5, he started putting it on. He could feel that he was behind. He did not wilt. He did not give in. He fucking started putting the pressure on Jack and made it dirty. Both these men look like they were in a fight after this final bell rang. But Jack Della Maddalena comes out on top. And a lot of it has to do with what happened in the early rounds. Was not allowing those takedowns. Just literally looked so fucking smooth. He was on the forward pressure. Was never allowing Bilal to back him up, get him close to the fence, because that's where he does some of his best work. When he's able to get you tight in on the fence, he works the boxing and then shoots in for that takedown. Jack was having none of that. He looked, I mean, cool, calm, and collected, like nothing was going on. It looked like a day in the office for Jack Della Maddalena in those first two rounds. It was just so fucking smooth. Was kind of playing games with Bilal. Round one, let's look at it. Round one, Bilal 0 for 1 on takedowns, got outstruck by 7. Round 2, 0 for 3 on takedowns. I thought these were pretty clear lines to Jack Della Maddalena. If we look over at the scorecards, I think they actually gave Jack, let's see, let's get this out of the way. I think they actually gave Bilal on Mike Bell's card and David Thurine's card. Bilal got the first round, which I'm surprised by. I thought Jack won 1-2. I thought he could have won 3. I really thought it could have been 3-0. Bilal did come on a little bit stronger in that third round towards the end. But then I thought he won 5. So 1-2-5 for sure. I thought he could have got 3. I think my card was closer to Eric Cologne's card. Again, I'm happy if you gave Bilal the third round. I'm not too upset with that. Looks like he didn't get it on any card. Surprising. So all 3 of the judges gave Jack 2, 3, and 5. Interesting. I mean, it doesn't matter. I thought right man won. Let's go back over here. I thought, oh, wrong thing. I thought right man won here. Round 3, like I said, Bilal started turning it up a little bit. He started putting on the pressure. I feel like he could feel that he was down a little bit. And to Bilal's credit, I mean, he gets shit for being boring. The last thing this fight was boring. And that's credit to Bilal. Because he was down, he was getting outstruck, he was getting hit. And he bit down on that mouth guard and fucking dug in on Jack Della Maddalena. Really turned it around towards the end of the third. Still 0 for 1 on takedowns, but striking total's a lot closer here, 32-35. Round 4, I thought was Bilal's best round. Got Jack down. I wish I had how long he held him down for, but I don't. But I think he had him down for a minute or 2 in that round. But Jack's tough to keep down, man. And he proved that. Tough to keep down, especially in the 5th round. It could have been 2-2 going into that 5th round. Bilal had a really big takedown relatively early in that round, maybe 2-3 minutes left on the clock. And credit to Jack, he got up and started fucking slugging and then stole it away towards the end of that round. Landed a big knee, cut open Bilal bad. Not that he wasn't already beat up, but big knee, and then just started slugging. The reason I love Jack Della Maddalena is for this right here. This is something he said at the UFC post press conference.
Over here. I know it's still fresh. You've only been the champion for I think less than an hour or so, but I guess looking forward, like, what do you want your title reign to look like? Like, do you want like these super fights? Do you want to just stay active and rack up the rubies? What would be the ideal title reign for you?
Yeah, racking up the rubies. I wanted to get some finishes. I really was trying to get the finish, but it'd be nice to be a champion that gets back-to-back finishes. But obviously, I couldn't get it tonight. But we'll go back to the drawing board, keep work.
I love that. I mean, Jack just put on the performance of his life, and his answer for what he wants his championship reign to look like is finishes. I fucking love that. And you could see it in his fight. I mean, in a fight that he very well could have been up, 3-0, 3-1 going into that 5th round, which he was on, Eric Cologne's scorecard. he still was like fighting to the bitter end. Even after I feel like he had the 5th round won, he did everything in his power to fucking knock out Bilal at the end of that fight. Dude is a fucking savage. That's the kind of champion I love to have. A guy that's not happy with the win. He wants to put people's lights out. And when we're looking at this division, we got some killers coming at him. And we're not even talking about Islam Makhachev yet. We'll get to that. He's coming. But, you know, obviously this hasn't been updated. Bilal Muhammad's still the champ. Jack was 5. He is now the champion. We're looking at Sean Brady 1, Shavkat, Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman. And that's where it does start to get interesting. Because that was the big story of this fight. You know, it didn't have a ton of hype around it. The hype around this fight was more around the result of this fight because Islam Makhachev said that he was coming up if Jack got this win, which he did. So there's a high possibility we're getting Islam Makhachev next at 170. And the performance that Jack just put on, tricky customer. Now, do I think Islam is overall better than Bilal? Yeah, I think he's a little bit more skilled on the feet. Obviously, he's got the same wrestling pedigree, if not better. But tricky fucking customer coming up coming up a division, and we've seen Islam get cracked. I mean, Dustin Poirier was putting on him, cut him open. I guess that was due to a headbutt, but regardless, Volk did the same, cracked him, sat him down. You know, Jack's a tough cookie, and he just showed incredible wrestling defense. And even when he did get taken down, this is something that I saw pre-fight too. He's hard to hold there. Like, just literally, especially, and I think it was the 4th round, just big explosion got him right back up. Just basically, you know, Derek Lewis used to say he doesn't believe in takedowns or something like that because you just get up. That was kind of his thing. There's like clips out there where Derek Lewis is on the bottom and just stands up. That's Jack Della Maddalena. When he was tucked in that Bilal fight, he just literally stood up. It was fucking incredible. But tough fucking, you know, if I were Islam watching that, I'd be going, oh shit. You know, I don't even think he expected Jack to win this fight. Now that he has seen him win it, the way in which he did it, the fight became a little bit more intriguing. Like there's still, if you're comparing it to the Ilia Topuria fight, there's no fucking hype around this fight in comparison to that. But you got to admit, after that performance that Jack just put on, especially against a guy that's got a similar style to Islam Makhachev, it, you know, gets me wondering at least a little bit. It gets me wondering at least a little bit. And if Jack Della Maddalena can go Bilal Muhammad, Islam Makhachev back to back, a scary fucking customer, because then you think about guys like Sean Brady, Shavkat Rakhmonov. That wrestling shit doesn't mean so much anymore. I mean, of course, still tough matchups. And both those guys offer unique things. But that would be so fucking impressive. I think right now, truth is, it is the UFC's job, their sole goal for the next, I don't know, probably got to be finalized by this week to get Islam Makhachev in the fucking ring with Ilia Topuria for International Fight Week. Because let's be honest, Jack just got done fighting. Islam was supposedly preparing for this fight had it gone Bilal's way. He was supposedly preparing for International Fight Week. You know, you can do both. You go make the fight that everybody wants, the Ilia Topuria fight, the fight with all the freaking luster, the glam, the big check that's going to come with that. And then you beat Ilia Topuria, you can still go up to 170. And if you lose, then you get a free chance at 170. Seems like at this point of Islam's career, I think he would rather be fighting at 170 as it is. I know he said he wants double champ status, but we've seen it before. It's incredibly hard to hold down two divisions. You have to be the most active. I don't even know if we've seen anybody really do it successfully. You know, Conor McGregor was featherweight featherweight lightweight champ, vacated the featherweight belt, ended up vacating the lightweight belt. Who else has been double champ? I don't know. Regardless, I think Islam Makhachev at this point in his career, I think the weight cuts are getting hard for him. I think he just, more than anything, wants to move up to 170. But from what we heard from Islam this week is he wants to keep that belt with him. So if you want to keep that belt with him, then I'd say fight Ilia. Fight Ilia, stamp that, because there's a guy there's a guy that's a clear number one contender that everybody wants to see that fight. It's not like there's nobody at 155. It's not like he's cleaned it out to the point where there's nobody. I mean, we're looking at it right here. He still hasn't fought Arman Sarukian. You can still make that fight, but okay. I still think that fight is valuable and is a really interesting matchup. You know, of course, he beat Charles Oliveira. He hasn't fought Justin Gaethje, but it doesn't feel like that one needs to be made right now. Max Holloway doesn't need to be made. Already beat Dustin Poirier. You know, Paddy Pimblett's on the rise. We don't even have Ilya in these rankings. I guess Ilya's unranked right now, but Arman, Ilya, and shit, if Paddy wins another one, that's still fun. Like, 155 is buzzing right now. It's not like there's nothing going on. Islam is basically a logjam for this welterweight division. We just got rid of Bilal. Jack Della Maddalena is now in there. You got Sean Brady that absolutely has a claim for the belt. You have Shavkat, who was supposed to be in this fight, so he's got a claim for that belt. You got Ian Machado Gary. Feels like, I don't know, you could always plug Ian in. I feel like Ian is a plug-in that you could do. I don't think he, you know, he's got the loss to Shavkat. Sean Brady just looks so incredible. It just defeated a former champion. I think they still have the lead on him. Then we got Joaquin Buckley and Kamaru Usman about to fight. So there's going to be a lot of movement in this welterweight division. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 guys that are chomping at that bit for that title. Now, does that mean you do the Jack Islam fight? Now, Sean Brady Shavkat, you can make a number one contender fight out of. That would be incredible. Joaquin Ian Gary, assuming that Joaquin gets over Kamaru Usman, that could be incredible. Honestly, I'm hoping for that because, all due respect to Kamaru Usman, if Kamaru Usman wins that Joaquin Buckley fight, he's calling for a title shot, and I don't know if he takes another fight in between. I mean, he's been out for 2 years now. Last guy he fought was Hamzat. He's being very selective with his picks. I think if he beats Joaquin Buckley, he's going to be calling for that title shot. So kind of, you know, all due respect to Kamaru, just activity-wise, I hope for Joaquin. I guess that actually kind of makes a lot of sense. God, I'm coming over to it, and I hate that I am. But like Sean Brady, Shavkat, number one. Ian Machado, Joaquin Buckley, assuming he gets over, number one. That would be fantastic. That would be fan-freaking-tastic. But let's throw some props up to Jack Della Maddalena because a fight that he was not supposed to be in and not supposed to win. And in my opinion, not dominated, but looked fantastic in. I'll say dominated. The first 2 rounds, I was like, oh shit. Even into the third. Again, I thought there was a chance Jack was 1, 2, 3 on that scorecard, and he was on one scorecard. I'm really surprised that Bilal was picking up. Let's look back at round 1. 21-28. You know, I'd have to rewatch it, but 0 for 1 on takedowns. He got outstruck. Yeah, I feel like Jack in that first round landed the more devastating shots compared to Bilal. I don't really remember Bilal cracking Jack to a point where you're like, oh, fuck, big shot there. I felt like other way around, if anything. But, you know, scorecards are what they are. I think the right guy won. We did have 2 belts on this card. We also had Valentina Shevchenko, Manofero. Another interesting one was kind of some big stakes on the back end because the biggest fight you can make in women's MMA right now is Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili, and we're going to get that. Thankfully, that's, you know, big win for Valentina Shevchenko, a lady that I was worried about coming into this fight. You know, she's just getting older. To be fair to Valentina, she's still putting it on these ladies. She's, I don't know how old she is, but old. And she's still beating young up-and-comers. I guess she's 37, Mano's 35. I do know her age. So it's not like Mano's that young, but like young compared to Valentina with just fights. I mean, I think she's 12-3 now. I think Valentina's, I want to say she's got 12, maybe 13 title wins. But really fucking impressive performance. I mean, after the first round, it looked like Valentina Shevchenko was going to run away with this thing. Like, Mano looked like visibly confused in the corner. Valentina was just sitting down on things and just beating her up. Broke her nose in the first round. I don't know if it's actually broken, but beat her up. Let's see, round 1. Let's see the striking difference. 57-20 in the first round and landed a takedown. Round 2, to credit to Mano, she started piling things together. I thought she won round 2. Let's look at the scorecards. I thought she won round 2, 3, and possibly 4. Although 3 was a very close fight, hard to score. I'm not surprised it went to Valentina, but I thought there was a chance that she after that first round, I thought she was fucked, but she really sort of turned it around. Let's see. Sal D'Amato gave Valentina 1, 4, and 5, meaning Minot had 2 and 3. Guy Garrard gave Valentina 1, 3, and 5. And Chris Lee had the same card as Sal D'Amato. So, yeah, 1, 4, and 5. So Minot did get round 3 on 2 of the judges' scorecards. And round 4 is pretty tough to score too. Valentina got it on every card, but it was a close battle. It was a close fight. It really did come down to round 5, which is where Valentina shined. She kind of showed her championship medal in that 5th round. Let's get back to it. Round 3, we're looking at 36-29. But I think I remember Minot was doing a really good job. I partially am remembering this fight right now, but she was doing a really good job of putting Valentina on the fence and just kind of digging knees into her in these kind of middle rounds, just putting her on the fence and digging those fucking knees into her. Really doing a good job of that. Outstruck her in the 4th, 29-30. The strike totals don't always tell the story of the round, but that's right. Valentina at the end of 4 knocked Minot down, and I thought that actually stole her the round. I remember texting Cody that, I thought Minot was up until that point in round 4. So, yeah, I think I had the same scorecard as, Chris Lee and Sal D'Amato. 2 and 3 to Minot. The knockdown in 4 stole Valentina that round, and then in 5th round, she really, she showed why she's a champion. Just bit down on that mouth guard and did what she does, landed the bigger power shots, and really put on a really impressive performance. And we're getting the fight that we want. Zhang Wei Li versus Valentina Shevchenko. That should be the fight that's coming, and I believe that's the fight that we're going to get. No reason not to make it. There's not a ton going on in those divisions. Yeah, I mean, you look at them right now. Virna Jandiroba is kind of your number 1 contender against Zhang Wei Li. The women's flyweight, it's a little messier. Natalia Silva, we'll talk about that in a second, but Natalia Silva just got over Alexa Grasso. I assume she's going to be closing in on probably, I don't know, she'll be closing in on that top spot. She'll definitely be within that top 5. But then we're going to get Erin Blanchfield, Macy Barber. I believe that's in 2 weeks. Minot Ferro obviously just won. Alexa Grasso just lost. So there's going to be a lot of movement. I think, Natalia Silva has a case. Whoever wins this Macy Barber, Erin Blanchfield fight is going to have a case. But it still feels like they're probably 1 fight away. I think Natalia Silva versus the winner of this fight, or Natalia Silva even against Jasmine Jasovicius, who also had a really impressive performance on this card. There's a number 1 contender fight to be had. I don't think anybody's really shining in this flyweight division right now. So Zhang Wei Li coming up into that, I think, makes total sense, which is good. Oops. Let's keep her chucking along. Jose Aldo, Aman Zahabi. I think Aman stole this one, but credit to Aman. What a fucking dog. It sucks that Jose's going out like this. He seems like he retired after this fight, in a fight that I thought he was up 2 rounds going into that 3rd round. And even in that 3rd round, I think there was a case to be made because he did have he did knock. They both had moments. Aman at the end of the round, clearly Jose was gassed out. And he was just on top of him, just raining elbows. Bad look. But the reason he was so gassed out is because he knocked down Aman and fucking kicked him in the face. Like a dog, Aman Zahabi is. The dog that he is. Got knocked down. Jose Aldo running soccer kicked him in the face. And he was able to get back to his feet, turn around, get on top of Jose Aldo and start raining down fucking elbows. Especially in Montreal, the heart he showed. Pretty fucking incredible. I thought the decision should have gone to Jose Aldo, but, Jose also missed weight. The whole, it seemed like this was, regardless of result here, this is probably what was going to happen. So win, lose, draw doesn't really matter here. A pretty impressive performance, all things considered. And, Aman Zahabi's on a roll now. Whether it was stolen or not, that means he's, 4 or 5 in a row? Even more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think since coming back in 2021, yeah, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. Aman Zahabi. And just got a big win over Jose Aldo. Showed a lot of heart. Now, how far can he get up that the featherweight rankings? I don't know. But dog status earned after eating that fucking soccer kick right to the dome piece. Alexa Grasso, Natalia Silva. Natalia Silva is a tricky fucking customer. Her movement is insane. Her kicks are lightning fast. Like, she's a real problem. A real problem. It just is. And she showed actually some pretty good grappling defense here too against Alexa Grasso, who really just it didn't feel like Alexa could find Natalia Silva. She was constantly moving, stepping in and out of the pocket. They were fighting at kick range for most of the fight. Really, really impressive by Natalia Silva. Alexa Grasso, lost 2 in a row now. I think still want to see her on that Guadalajara card. I think, Guadalajara is her hometown. That's going to be where UFC Noche is. You could still get Alexa Grasso. I mean, Alexa Grasso is still I'd love Alexa Grasso, Rose Namajunas on that. That feels fantastic. UFC Noche, Guadalajara, hometown. Both former champions. Both kind of need a new set of life. Rose Namajunas, I think, is coming off of a loss to Blanchfield. Yeah, coming off of a loss to Blanchfield. So I think that's a great fight to make, She just fought an up-and-coming contender in Natalia Silva. Let's give her a legend. Rose Namajunas. That's the fight to make. Guadalajara. But Natalia Silva, like I said, I think she's one away and could make a case that if for whatever reason they don't make this Zhang Weili fight, I think she's primed for the title. Just beat Alexa Grasso, the number 1 contender. So Natalia Silva's in prime position and fucking hard to track down. She looked big. I mean this respectfully. She's thick, She is thick. She just looked overall bigger than Alexa Grasso. Her legs are thick, and she kicks, constantly moving, hard to, she's all over the freaking map in that cage. So really impressive performance. Benoit Saint-Denis, Kyle Prepolek. You know what? I'll be honest. Kyle Prepolek, I was getting behind him a little bit. The story was good for Kyle Prepolek in a spot that sucks. A Canada boy, a week's notice, Benoit Saint-Denis, a tough ask. But Kyle Prepolek at the press conference, he said, this is my Rocky moment, and I felt that for him, Short notice, hometown, I guess home country here, stepping in against a murderer in Benoit Saint-Denis. Whether he dropped 2 before this or not, Benoit Saint-Denis standing in front of you is a scary customer. I mean, this guy was a special forces in the French army. I guarantee he's killed a motherfucker before, so Benoit Saint-Denis is a scary character. And I was getting, Kyle Prepolek through the first round, he didn't really have any great moments against Benoit. I think actually some better moments in the second round, started tagging him up a little bit when Benoit got a little bit more aggressive. But I found myself rooting for him in the middle of this fight just because I was like, how crazy would it be? How crazy would it be? Truthfully, Rocky moment if Kyle Prepolek beat down Benoit Saint-Denis, but not the case. And good for Benoit because he needed this win. If he dropped it to Kyle Prepolek, first of all, he was supposed to fight Joel Alvarez, which is a much tougher fight. A scary fucking fight for Benoit. Coming off of 2 losses, he'd now be on a 3-fight skid. Scary. But lucky for him, he got Kyle Prepolek and, got the sub. And looked, I thought he looked not scared, but wasn't that normal, didn't have that normal aggression in the first round that he usually carries. He didn't, we can look the punch totals. I don't think he landed a ton. He was just kind of holding on. 27-0. Outstruck him 27-0 in the first round. So maybe he did all right. 50-14 in the second round. But, I thought he looked a little timid, all things considered. He just got beat twice in a row. I think it looked like in the first round he was fighting like he was fighting not to lose, maybe not instead of to win. But in the second round, to his credit, and I think he said something about it in the post-fight, like he was really following his coach's orders in the first round. And in the second round, he kind of said, all right, or maybe his coaches told him, I don't know, but he said, all right, I'm going to go eat. And that's what he did. Big win for Benoit Saint Denis. Mike Malott, Charles Radtke. This one was fun because Charles Radtke was talking shit. You know, he reminds me of Justin Gaethje. Kind of got that face. Kind of got a Justin Gaethje face. He's representing the US of A. You gotta love that. But Charles Radtke walked into a buzzsaw that is Mike Malott, knocked him out in the second round, and did it pretty brutally. Knocked him down and then landed some nasty ground and pound after that. Big win for Mike Malott. Back on the finish train. You know, he had a not super exciting fight against Trevin Giles before that. Obviously, the loss to Neil Magny, but he's back on the finish train and did it really impressively. What is he now? 12-2. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5-1 in the UFC. Proper Mike Malott back on top. Jasmine Jasavicius is a fucking problem. Remember that. Jasmine Jasavicius, a problem. Subbed out Jessica Andrade. Gave her nothing. Dominated Jessica Andrade. Didn't just sub her out. Dominated her. I'd be surprised. Yeah, 4-27. First round sub. Didn't give her a chance. Didn't give her a freaking chance. Like I said, Jasmine's was 9. Jessica Andrade is 7. You assume they probably flop there. I don't know if she's going to crack the top 5. She may. But she's been putting it on these ladies. Dropped one to Tracy Cortez back in the day, but it's been on a killer streak since then. Jasmine Jasavicius. We're now looking at, I think it's not saying right here, but I'm pretty sure she went to decision with Mayra Bueno Silva in a fight she really kind of dominated. Mayra Bueno Silva fought for a title at a weight class up. So, like, Jasmine's just physically crushing these chicks. She's just so much physically stronger than these chicks. So really impressive against Mayra Bueno Silva. Obviously, what she did to Jessica Andrade. Had a third round submission against De Silva. Decision against Klein. Sub decision. In her loss to Tracy Cortez. But she's now put together what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. 5 in a row. Jasmine Jasavicius. And did not even... She walked through Jessica Andrade. Super impressive. Modestas Bukauskas, Ian Cutelaba. I'll be honest, I was in the car for this one. I wasn't watching it super close. But this is one that was kind of controversial. Felt like Ian Cutelaba won the first 2 rounds. Modestas Bukauskas ended up getting the decision. Navajo Sterling... Okay, here's the situation with the early card. I watched this one. Brad Katona, Beksat, Alkama Mamazana. First of all, Beksat, what a fucking dog. 2 fights in the UFC. First one was against Umar Nurmagomedov. Drops him in that fight. Ended up getting dominated after that, to be fair. But drops him in that fight. A short notice call, fighting Umar Nurmagomedov. Probably put Umar, outside of Merab, in the most danger he's ever been in his career in the UFC. And then fucking first round KOs Brad Katona, who's a tough cookie. I mean, Brad Katona, I thought this one was going decision for sure. I mean, I think if you look down at the record of Brad Katona, you're going to see a ton of decisions. Decision, like hard to put out. Took an uppercut to the face and got knocked out in the first round by Almakhan, who I believe was a flyweight at one point. Like, not a huge guy, but carries some serious power out of Kazakhstan. Watch out for this guy, Beksat Almakhan. Fuck. I didn't watch this one. I did go back and watch. Again, I took a little nippity nap. I started taking a nap here. I actually woke up to Navajo Sterling in his kind of last, people screaming on the screen at the end of that third round Navajo Sterling fight. But I did go back and watch it. Pretty good performance out of City Kickboxing. He's now 7-0. Navajo Sterling got some hair plugs too. Looks fantastic. So shouts out to Navajo. Marc-Andre Barrios in Canada put Bruno Silva to sleep. Put him to sleep. Earned the performance of the night bonus. Overall, pretty good card. I mean, knockout, sub, knockout, sub, masterclass, just a fun fucking war, pretty competitive title fight, and then a pretty competitive title fight. 315, I think, delivered for a card that didn't have a lot of hype, and I'm sure didn't do the best on pay-per-view. Really, I thought the fights were pretty good, which is what matters at the end of the day. When I'm ripping $80 out of my pocket, I'll be honest, I wasn't excited for it. When I go, fuck, maybe I just streamed this one tonight. I didn't. I ended up buying it, and the fights delivered, which is what matters at the end of the day. Now, can the UFC keep the Islam-Ilya fight together? That's the question. Come on, give it to us. I mean, Jack's just got done with a 5-round fucking war. He's going to need some time. We don't need to wait, Islam. If you're listening to this, you're not. But you can fight Ilya, and then you can go up. Please give us this. Come on. That's our post-fight recap. Peace, love. I'm out of here.